But there's also a cause for concern. As Nilanjan Banik writes in the Times of India, the competitiveness of our exports is also dependent on the incomes of those countries purchasing them. After all, as he writes, the real GDP growth in the euro area is expected to slide from 5.4% in 2021 to 2.3% in 2022. He also says that China's own GDP growth rate is projected to fall from 8.1% in 2021 to 5% in 2022, while the United States is experiencing inflation to the tune of 9%. The US Federal Reserve has reacted strongly by raising interest rates, resulting in many global investor funds switching to the US financial markets, eyeing greater growth.
If you are selling something to the outside world, two things matter. One is the foreign demand, which is also functional upon foreign income, because if your income is less, of course, you are going to demand less amount of import. And the other factor is how competitive is your export items are. So in both this count, India is actually suffering. Why? Because we see kind of the economic growth has slowed down, be it European Union. The economic growth has fallen from 5.3% to now less than 2.3%. For China, India is another largest trading partner. The economic growth has fallen from 8.1 to now they are saying less than 5%. For the US, for the first 2 quarters of this calendar year, you will find they are suggesting an economic growth of only 1.3%. What I mean by economic growth is the growth in GDP. So most of our exports are actually income elastic, meaning that they depend more upon the income of the foreign trading partners compared to the price elastic, So because if you see which are our major exports, these are like refined petroleum product, these are like some pharmaceutical product, these are like engineering goods, these are like precious metals like and stones, like diamonds. And so these are the items we depend upon foreign income. Now, because the foreign incomes are actually coming down, we see our export is not growing. The other part is what I said, that our export are also not competitive when it comes to the price sensitive item. For instance, leather food. I'll give you a very specific example. When it comes to trade in pharmaceutical product, we call it intra-industry trade. What does it mean? It means that you are trading in similar commodity. You are exporting and importing the same commodity. But when India is exporting active pharmaceutical ingredients to, let's say, China, the value of our export is much less compared to when we are importing the same item from China. Now, why is that? Because in terms of quality, we are not able to compete with Vietnam, Bangladesh, China, and other countries. And this is also particularly true with respect to textile and apparel product. So because of this, we are actually losing on two counts. Foreign income is falling. That has reduced the demand for our income elastic export. Also, in terms of quality, we are not able to compete with some of our major competitors like Bangladesh, Vietnam, and China.
And Banik also estimates that the rupee could fall further. Now, how much is too much? That really could decide the extent to which we can withstand this depreciation.
Now, the value of rupee is determined in what we call in terms of floating exchange rate. Now, because the relative supply of dollar has fallen vis-a-vis rupee, it is not surprising to see why the value of rupee is depreciating. In fact, what I wrote in the TOI article, I think the rupee is going to settle around 83 mark per dollar within the next 6 months. And the reason why I say so, you will find that recently the government has also increased the GST, on packaged food item. Now that has some implication on the inflation rate. So although the June numbers, it has come down a little bit, but it is going forward in the next quarter. I expect the inflation rate to go up a little bit on account of GST being implemented. And also, there is also a feedback effect in the sense that as the value of your rupee start depreciating, the value of your import, in this case, we are talking about crude and coal, that value of import is going to become much more costlier.
There will be sustained pressure on India's current account deficit because of the rising import bill. So what really can be done to address the situation? Should India dip into its forex reserves, which we've done to some extent, but won't that then impair the financial wherewithal of commercial banks as well as money supply?
The Indian rupee is holding up well relative to both advanced and EME peers. The recovery is gradually strengthening. The current account deficit is modest. Inflation is stabilizing. The financial sector is well capitalized and sound. The external debt to GDP ratio is declining. The foreign exchange reserves are adequate. In recognition of the fact that there is a genuine shortfall of supply of forex in the market relative to the demand, the Reserve Bank has been supplying US dollars to the market to ensure that there is adequate forex liquidity.
For the time being, the RBI's priority has been to address inflation, and it has raised the repo rate on 2 occasions. Inflation has been over 7% since May and well over the threshold of 6%, which is the RBI's own tolerance limit. But again, as per reports, India's inflation rate is 108th in terms of rank among 172 countries. Others are in a far worse situation than we are.
See, in terms of the exchange rate, trying to control the value of exchange rate, more than the government, it's what RBI is doing the firefighting. Because they are the one who can intervene in the foreign exchange market. Intervene means you can buy and sell dollar, depending upon whether you want to arrest the falling value of rupee. The problem is the RBI is also doing what we call contractionary monetary policy. They are increasing the rate, trying to stave off the inflation numbers. Now, the problem is this inflation is happening not because of increase in demand. This is happening because of lack of supply. From the government perspective, I thought maybe one good idea can be is to bring the petrol and diesel under GST.
Having said that, the consumer here continues to feel the pinch, and there's been a massive political face-off during the ongoing parliament session over price rise, the depreciating rupee, and the rationalization of GST rates. The debate on the state of our economy is only likely to intensify.
Well, I think to talk about a threshold, I mean, the so-called 80 was the magic figure, and I don't think we should worry. It's not going to go crazy as in Sri Lanka and Pakistan and so on. It's not. We are a strong economy. Our fundamentals are strong. In the current year, we are going to be the fastest growing major economy in the world. And so we should not worry. Relax. Relax about the currency and focus on our priorities as a country, which is to create jobs.